We were discussing partial orders, which are relations satisfying three properties, namely reflexivity, antisymmetric, and transitive. Subsequently, we looked at a special kind of partial orders, something called total orders. They, in addition to satisfying reflexivity, antisymmetric, and transitive, they satisfy an additional property called trichotomy. And that says, if you look at the underlying assay diagram of a partial order and look at any two elements, for example, if I look at 6, 9, there should be an arc from either 6 to 9 or 9 to 6. And for example, if you look at 2, 4 and they are related, and there is an arc from 2 to 4. And for every pair of A comma B, you see an arc from A to B or B to A. And the other day we saw that here is a relation which is a partial order but not a total order. For example, 3, 5, you don't see 3 to 5 or 5 to 3. Similarly, if you look at 6, 10 or 6, 9, no arc from 6 to 9 or 9 to 6. So there are many partial orders which are not total orders. Okay. And if you look at the underlying assay diagram, and which means you kind of list the elements in some specific order. And we were saying that there is an hierarchy among elements of A. For example, 1 comes first, followed by this element, followed by this, and so on. And this is also giving us some more information. So which means, given an assay diagram of this type, I can talk about something called least element, greatest element, minimal elements, maximal elements, and so on, which we shall see now. And the other thing is, this one is a partial order but not a total order. Supposing it is a total order, what is the structure of assay diagram if the relation R is a total order? Let's look at this relation, say z less than or equal to, which means we are working with set of integers and the relation is less than or equal to, which means you find 1 comma 1, 2 comma 2, 3 comma 3, and so on. And 1 is less than or equal to 2, so you see this. 2 is not, so 2 comma 1 will not come. So 2 is less than or equal to 3, so like this is come. And 1 less than or equal to 2, 2 less than or equal to 3, so which means 1 less than or equal to 3. So if you look at the underlying assay diagram, so you have 1, you have 2, and 3, and so on, right? And of course, you can start from 0 as well. So 0 comma 1 and 1 comma 2 and so on, right? So 0 comma 0, and you also have 0 comma 2, 0 comma 3, and all that. So now reflexivity arc is implicit, so we don't draw 0 comma 0, 1 comma 1, 2 comma 2 and all that. We only draw antisymmetric arcs. So 0 comes first, followed by 1, 1 comes after 0 before 2, and similarly 2 comes after 1 before 3, and so on. 0 to 2 is transitive arc, implicit. 0 to 3 is transitive arc, implicit. Similarly 1 to 3, 1 to 4, and so on. Now you see that the assay diagram, this one is a partial order, or the underlying set is a poset. You look at any two elements, you see that one element is above the other, which means they are related. So this is also a total order. But the moment, so if you look at this, you can compare any two elements. You look at 1 and 10. 1 is here and 10 is above, so which means antisymmetric arc is from 1 to 10, because 1 less than or equal to 10. And this is true for any pair. So which means this is clearly a partial order and a total order. Now, this total order, the structure is looking like a chain. It's a linear chain. So this one is a partial order, but not a total order. So why is this so? You see that something like this is a linear chain. The moment you branch out, from this you branch out and take 5. The moment you branch out and take say 9, then you immediately see that 3 and 5 are not related, 6 and 9 are not related. So this is just a partial order but not a total order. So which means in the assay diagram, the moment you see a branch coming out, it satisfies partial order property but not total order property. So if the underlying assay diagram is a linear chain, which means it represents a total order. Simple reason is, suppose it is not a chain and you see that a branch is coming out from this, then there is an element here, then you see that neither 2x and nor x2 belongs to R, which means for this pair there is no relation, then it becomes just a partial order but not a total order. So this is an interesting observation, and with this one can talk about lot more special elements which we shall see now. So given a poset, a partially ordered set, so which means you have A and there is an underlying relation R, something like this. There is an underlying relation R which is a partially ordered relation satisfying the properties reflexivity, antisymmetric and transitive, due to which the underlying set we call it as a partially ordered set. And you are also given a set B which is a subset of A. So for the subset B, you can talk about greatest element, least element and all that. Let us consider this. So for this R and my A is 1 to 13, that's my poset. You can take B and talk about greatest element and least element. Please note, it is defined for a subset of A. This could be anything. So take some subset. So let me take subset to be say 1, 2, 3, 4. So this says B is the greatest element. Please note, the greatest element is also from the set, subset that we have taken. It is a greatest element if for all B prime belonging to B and B prime related to B. So this one is not, don't see it as less than or equal to, this represents some relation. So that could be less than or equal to, or that could be divides, it could be any relation. And it could be a brother or sister of, it could be anything. So with respect to the relation, if you see, for all B prime is related to B. So in some sense, if B prime is related to B, then you see that there is an antisymmetric arc from B prime to B. which means in the underlying assay diagram, B is above, B prime is below. Correct? So it says for all B prime is related to B. We know that if there is an arc from B prime to B, and it's a partial order relation, so you will find an arc from B prime to B, and which means in the underlying relation B is above, B prime is down, because we don't represent any other arcs. If at all there is an arc, it is an antisymmetric arc. So in some sense this says B dominates all of B. Here is an element which is superior to all. When I say dominates or superior, every other element is below them with respect to the assay diagram or with respect to the relation. Which means if you look at the antisymmetric arcs will be from B prime to B, B prime to B, B prime to B, and so on. So now let's look at this. If you look at 1, 2, 3, 4, and please note greatest element is part of B. It is an element such that for every other element this is above. B prime is related to this, B prime is related to this, B prime is related to this. 6 is also seen as B prime, 6 is related to 6. Due to reflexivity, we know. So which means greatest element is 6. And 1 is related to 6, 2 is related to 6, 3 is related to 6, 6 is also related to 6. So if you look at this part alone, you see that 6 is above all of them. Okay. Now the other counterpart is an element B belonging to this is a least element if every other element is above that element. Meaning from B you see an antisymmetric arc to all other B prime. What is that element? That's precisely 1. So from 1 you see an arc to 1 itself, reflexivity, then 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 6. So which means 1 is below and every other element is above. So let's look at say 4, 6. So if I look at 4, 6 and I need an element which is above 4 and 6, but it should be part of this. That's very important, B belonging to this. And similarly, I need an element which is below this, something that dominates both and something that is dominated by these two. But are there such elements? 4 cannot be greatest because there is no relation between 4 and 6. 6 cannot be greatest, there is no relation between 4 and 6. So this one is nil, this one is also nil. Fine. So there are subsets for which you don't get greatest and least elements. Suppose if you take the subset to be, say 1, 2, 3, 5, then we need an element which is above all of this, which means dominates all of this. It has to be from this as well. Can 5 be a greatest element? No. There is no relation between 3, 5, no relation between this. So this cannot be greatest, this cannot be greatest. So greatest till nil. And here is an element which is dominated by all of this. 1 is related to 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 5. So the least element is 1. So please note both least and greatest elements both are from B. Okay. So next one is say 3, 6, 12. If you take this, then 12 is dominating 6, 12 is also dominating 3. so 12 is greatest. And 3 is dominated by 6, 3 is dominated by 12, so which means with respect to this assay diagram, you see that 3 is the least element. And supposing I take say 6, then 6 dominates 6, 6 is dominated by 6, so both greatest and least element are one and the same. And suppose you take 2, 4, 6, 12, you see that this element is dominated by all 2, 4, 2, 6, 2, 12. So least is 2. And 12 dominates everything. You see that 2, 12, 12 is above. 4, 12, 6, 12, and 12 is the greatest element. So there are cases where you see both are existing. There are cases where both are empty. There are cases where greatest is there, greatest is not there, least is there. And for example, if you take 2, 3, 6, if you take 2, 3, 6, then greatest is 6 and least is nil. So there are examples where you find least but not greatest. Similarly, you find greatest but not least. So if you take 2, 3, 6 and 6 dominates all of them, and but 2 cannot be least because there is no relation between 2 and 3. So just focus on the assay diagram and look at the subset. You look at the sub-assay diagram 2, 3, 6. If you see that there is an element in that and every other element is above them, then that element is least. And with respect to that sub-assay diagram, you see that there is an element and every other element is below them, then you see that that element is greatest. So on the similar line, there are other special elements one can talk about, which we shall define now. Next we define two special elements, namely maximal element and minimal element. Again we work with a poset and a subset B. An element B belonging to B is a maximal element if there does not exist B prime such that B is related to B prime, which means there is no antisymmetric arc from B to B prime. And this one, if it is a minimal element, if there does not exist B prime such that B prime is this. So you say B is maximal, you don't find with respect to assay diagram, if this is B, you don't find anything above this. That's what it says. There does not exist B prime such that B prime is above B. And suppose you say this element is least and there does not exist B prime below this. There does not exist B prime such that B prime is below and B is above. And very similar to what we did for greatest element and least element, one can experiment with couple of values for B. So let B be say 4, 6 and maximal element and minimal element. Take 4, 6. It says is 4 maximal element? Answer is yes. With respect to B, and there does not exist B prime which is above this. Similarly, with respect to 4, 6, there does not exist 6, there does not exist an element above 6. With respect to this subset, you have to see. Okay. What about minimum? There does not exist an element below this, exists below this, so both are minimum. So let's look at the set to be say 4, 6, 12. Now you see that is 4 maximum? Answer is no. because you find 12 part of B which is dominating this. And is 6 maximum? No. You find 12 which belonging to B dominates this. So is 12 maximum? Answer is yes. There is no other element in B which is above 12. And what about minimum? Is 4 minimum? Answer is yes. Is 6 minimum? Answer is yes. Is 12 minimum? No, because below 12 you see 6, below 12 you see 4. So these two are minimum. Suppose my B is say 1, 2, 3, 6. Now this is my B, and here is an element above this. Is there an element which is part of the set B dominating this? Answer is no. So 6 is maximum. Is 1 maximum? No, because there is something above. Is 3 maximum? No, there is something above. So 6 is maximum. How about minimum? 2 cannot be minimum because 1 is down. 3 cannot be minimum, so 1 is down. So only 1. Fine. If you take just 7, then 7 is maximum. 7 is also minimum. You take the entire this thing. So you take all of this. Now if you see that is 7 maximum. Now we ask, do you see anything above? Answer is no. Yes, 7 is maximum. And is 5 maximum? Answer is no, because there is something above. Is 3 maximum? No. And 11? Yes, there is nothing above. 11 is maximum. 13? Yes, there is nothing above. So we say this one is maximum because there does not exist B prime such that 7 comma B prime there is an antisymmetric arc. 11 comma B prime, 13 comma B prime. And this level is done. Just go to this level and check. Is this maximum? No, there is above. There is above. How about 9? 9 is maximum. And is 10 maximum? Answer is yes. This level is done. Go to this level. Is 8 maximum? Answer is yes. Is 12 maximum? Yes. There is nothing above this. There is nothing above this. When it comes to minimum, this is not minimum, this is not minimum, because you see there is something below. This is not minimum, there is something below. This is not minimum, there is something below. So you see that 1 is minimum. Okay. And one more observation is, when we looked at greatest and least element, we have seen cases where greatest can be empty or least can be empty or both, whereas this one, that's not the case. You give me a subset, maximal elements and minimal elements always exist. So that is the beauty of this. And the other thing is, if you have observed, greatest and least, if exist, then it is unique. For example, when we looked at say 1, 2, 3, 6, we saw that 6 was greatest. When we looked at 2, 3, 6, we saw that 6 was greatest. And there was no least element. When I looked at 1, 2, 3, 6, least was this. So if it exists, it is unique. And so exactly one element you see. Whereas max and minimum, it need not be unique.